4th and the 5th of July, typically the most violent of the year. So the most mass shootings of any days of the year. And that's on every graph, and it's awful. And this July 4th, in Akron, in Edgewood, Maryland, in Shreveport, Louisiana, in Lansing, Michigan, in Hayward, in Washington, D.C. on the 5th, already 9 injured. I mean, it's insanity. And all of those I just mentioned had multiple injuries or deaths associated with those shootings. So what do we celebrate on July 4th? What about America are we celebrating? I mean, like most holidays in this country, it's sort of just, it's a holiday. It's barbecues, it's get people together. There's not some somber reflection going on or even excited reflection going on, typically, right, at any of these things. And I include Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Martin Luther King Day, whatever, you name it. Typically, we just, go through the motions and get together with friends or whatever, go on vacation. But when those fireworks are going off and, we're doing all of that, it's supposed to be a celebration of freedom, right? Of independence. Isn't that how it all started? Yeah. I would suggest we just touch on the fact that they should figure out a different way to celebrate besides the fireworks, just because of all the attendant problems. And we have technologies now that laser and drones and that can make for great sky shows. You don't need, the fireworks. But that aside, what are we celebrating now in America? What's good about America is what I would ask. So I asked Courtney this question last night. And you had, I thought, a couple of good. I mean, I have my answers I'll give you. In fact, I think I put them in the description of the show. But go ahead. What did you say?
Well, the first suggestion I made was true crime. Which seems a little light to be mentioning it, but true crime certainly. Mm-hmm. We also talked about.
So you feel that because we have a lot of the Dateline podcast, you feel that should be something that should be celebrated in this country?
Well, considering maybe there's not that much, it gets to the top pretty quickly, at least for my list. Yeah. And that's like everything around true crime, the podcasts, the programming. Right. I mean, there's entire channels devoted to it.
So yeah, true crime, you love true crime in America.
True crime.
That you like the discussion of true crime, you like the podcast, you like, okay. All right, so that's one of the things you feel really works in this country. Right.
Yeah, that was number one.
I don't know that that's going to be on any brochures.
I don't know if it's a marketing point.
Yeah. Is there anything else besides the true crime that you kids like about this country?
I also mentioned technology, but with an asterisk, because I think that as many great companies are building technologies in the U.S., there's also a lot of harm that's happening from those technologies. But that was something that came to mind, with technologies. And actually, anyway.
No, I think that's a really great point. I think there are two good points there. One is that technology is something, a lot of the technologies that have changed the world and continue to change the world are birthed right here in America. I'll come back to that in a second because it's for another reason that I think is another thing you can celebrate about this country. But the second point you make, which maybe should be the first point, is that the technology is troubling, right? It's both advancing and it's also horribly threatening.
Yeah, exactly. And there's such monopolies. I mean, even today, Meta announced their competitor, to Twitter. Yeah. And so you have a lot of companies that control a lot of the access and conversations that are happening online. But also in that spirit, I mean, there's been a lot of transformation that's happened from U.S.-based technology companies.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And now I double back to say one of the things that's great about this country is the freedom. This is a freedom thing. The freedom with which you can build a company and launch a technology and find funding for it and all the rest. Now, the world, I think, is getting hip to that, so there are other places to do it, Yes. I know a lot of stuff comes out of Israel. I believe some of Scandinavian countries have birthed some pretty big technologies as well. Yes. And I don't want to leave Asia out.
Yes.
But I think the freedom here it really does, help you take off.
Yes.
So you like technology with the asterisk, and you
Yeah.
like true crime.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Kim, do you have any thoughts about what this past 4th of July yesterday? And
I have a third.
Oh, you have a third. I
Yeah,
apologize.
I have a third.
Yes.
My third was Dolly Parton.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You do like Dolly Parton. And she was
the third suggestion that I made last night.
So I tried to argue country music comes out of America, which is true. And country music, I think, is terrific. And there are all kinds of subgenres of country. There's bluegrass and there's,
but I was saying that music has
country rock.
Yeah, but music has its roots in all different other types of music. So it's informed by many different things over the course of time. But Dolly Parton, she is American through
Dolly
and through.
Parton.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton is American and is terrific.
She was my third suggestion.
And there's no asterisk on Dolly
Parton. No.
She is all...
She's just great. We love Dolly Parton.
Yeah, she's all magic.
That's who I came up with for third.
Well, mine are perhaps a little more boring. We'll get to Kim's as she's rejoining.
Yeah. What were yours? I didn't see what I don't watch the show, so I didn't see what you wrote.
Yes, of course. Thank you. No, I wrote diversity. I think there's great diversity in America, and I love it. I really love the fact that there's so many different ethnicities, so many different cultures, and they help craft a whole bunch of really cool stuff, that make this country really great.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because a lot of the great minds that are building at the technology companies are not native to the U.S. And so you're right. I think diversity is a really important.
And I think you have to look at the economy. I mean, the economy of the U.S. is stronger than other economies in the world. There's a reason for that. Now, you can say it's being mismanaged, and you can say, the economy has all kinds of issues that we should address. You can even, I think, take issue with any number of economic relief packages. You can take issue with the fact that Wall Street was allowed to skate after the '08 crash. I can give you the SNL crisis. You can go back and see all the ways that market manipulation have affected the U.S. economy. Elon Musk, in my view, is a market manipulator, and he's been allowed to skate. Money and power, how it has destroyed the justice system and parts of the economy. And when it comes to bringing members of the economy to justice.
I was going to say, this
Mark,
is a real...
Are you on the stuff that we should be grateful for?
Yeah, exactly. This is a real advocacy for that point. I think you just negotiated that out of the consideration.
I'm just saying, I am respectful, and I feel it's a plus, the U.S. economy, but I think it has an asterisk. Okay. Taco Tuesday is one of America's great things, says Tom. See, and that you wouldn't have that without the cultures. So
exactly.
Kim, what about you? This 4th and 5th of July, is there anything that you would like to add?
For me, it's just the ideal that maybe I used to celebrate thinking, thank God I'm American and that I just happened to be born here, but now it's more. I celebrate the ideal of what I hope that we can go back to and what we can be.
Yeah.
Maybe not even go back to. Yeah, maybe just, be in the future, the ideal of what America should be. And that includes diversity. And that includes being able to speak your mind and our political system and everything else. So.
Yeah. Dark money from corporations because they're people too. So yes, we're grateful for the dark money and the corporate purchase of our government and our justices.
Yep.
Mark, what about all the homelessness? Says Frank. You're right. We're grateful for the homelessness too. I can't do it. Yeah. No, of course that's a huge issue in this country. Freedom of speech. Peggy, you're right. I mean, that is one of the fundamental tenets, I think, of life in America is freedom of speech, your ability to say what you want about this government and all the rest. I think around the edges, you can argue that, there's that it's a bit of a landmine, but I take your point, and I think it's a good one. Yeah, freedom of speech. There was never a perfect time in our history, says Mindy. Here in America, it is a constant work in progress. It's so true. 2 steps forward, 1 step back sometimes, but it is a work in progress. When we, Courtney, I want to thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.